So welcome to today's London to New York crossover with the Harmonic scanner, and we should have Les Gallagher joining us. Yes, I can see he's on today. So if you're on the free trial, make sure that you look in the units section in the Financial Freedom Movement group and make the most of that for this week, and reach out to anyone that you see on this session. There's quite a few of the live traders on here and they will help you. And you'll also have access to, when you join, to im.center, where you'll find all the strategies and products that we use. So I'll just show you briefly where that is, because we use the scanner, which is free with the lowest cost package, the Platinum package. And that's one of our main strategies. You can take 25 to life there. Off the D point. Again, any of the live traders can help you with that. And also there's a free trade idea given with the new scan, which you will see on the right hand side of the scan. What that is coming up. So come down here. We also use Vibrata for our other main strategy, which is be your own bank. And that gives us about 60 to 80 trade ideas a day. Again, any of the live traders can help you with that on your team. And it's based on artificial intelligence. It's looking at the history, it's looking left in the market, as we say, in order to make predictions about what's going to happen going forward. It's based on very good software developer, Steve Hooley, who's done all the work for IM Academy on that. So this is the Harmonic scanner, and for this strategy we use the H1 time frame analysis with Traders Way as the main feed, but you can use any of these brokers down here on the right hand side to look at the scans. So this is let's have a look, EuroCAD H1. Now this says shark, so with a shark it's slightly different. You can see it's just shaping up there. We only enter a shark for a trade if it's reached the second entry point, or at least 50% towards take profit 1. And the other criteria is from your, get your measurement ruler here, C to D leg needs to be a minimum of 80 pips, and you can see that says 2595. The last one is a pipette. It's the right side of the decimal point. You don't need to count that. So this is well worth drawing because it's 259 pips. And then take the ruler again and just measure off the D point, and it's moved down. Let me just magnify that a bit. So we're looking for it to have moved down 20 pips. And at the moment it's only, and remember it's a shark as well, it's only moved down 10, so you don't want to draw that yet anyway, although it's at the, well, it's at the second entry point, but I'd probably wait myself for it to come down a little bit more. So I'm not going to draw that one at the moment. The next one down is, oh, there's 3 sharks in a row, NZDJPY. And that one has completed all the way up quite nicely, and that was a D point. Might be a bit small, this one anyway. Oh, I can't see my, I'm gonna have to that's it. Couldn't see your beautiful faces were in the covering the time thing. That's only 55 pips anyway, so I'm not interested in that one. USD CAD, that one's working its way down as a shark, and you can see it's now, again, it's consolidating along that second entry point, and it's moved down 61 pips, so it is good to go. And that's USD CAD with the D point from the 26th of June. Now, as it's Monday, we usually draw up 1 or 2 to show new people how it's done. So I'll go through this one. UTC +3, I'm on Paris time. You want to make sure it's on your local time. So for me, click on UTC +1 for the UK. So in your local time zone, come to the X point, or the D. You can start with either. And this is plotting reversal points in the market. So the X point is the 15th of June, 0800. The A is 16th of June, and I always physically write this down on my pad and then I tick it off as I go. The B is, but it's just what routine you get used to. That's at midnight. So don't copy my timestamp because yours might be different. Brian is in Canada. He will have a different time zone. Or if you do, you need to change everything to make sure it matches up. So 26th of June at 1600. So once you've written down the reversal points, because the scan is looking for the reversal points in the market, this is a sell scan, meaning that from the D point, it's going to be coming downwards. So it's a sell scan. So it's high to low to high to low to high, and the opposite if it's a buy scan. So once you've done that, come over to your trading view and sorry, let me just write that down at the top. USD CAD hourly, then you're not going to get muddled up. Now, don't follow what I do, having charts down here. You need to create yours off the watch list on the right hand side. I just set mine up slightly differently. So you don't need to create lots of individual charts. Go to the hour up here, top left. Make sure it's on the same time frame as the scan that you found, because some of them are on the M30 or even the 15-minute. And again, down here, right-hand side, bottom right, make sure the time zone is the same as your own local time zone. And I'm just going to make this look a little bit cleaner for you. And just fade out the old scans. I usually change the old ones to a different color. I just keep the new one in white. And you can pick them up again when price moves back into it. So I like to just work out your own routine, really. I just fade them out a bit. Then you're not finding you've got too many distractions. So once you've got that set up, then we're looking for the 15th of June, and it probably will have crossed. So it's going to be up at this C point. Now, it's very good if a new scan meets one of the old reversal points, because that is making it, it's confirming that it's very, very valid. So come over here to your scanner. I'll just fade that one out as well. Not distracting for us. Not so distracting anyway. I know where it can look a little bit like Star Wars. Sometimes I do actually hide them. I come onto the object tree and actually hide the things like that. Just depends where price is, or I keep them very, very faint in the back. So I'll keep this one in the back. Okay, so come over here to your scanner icon on the left-hand menu, click on it, click once with the left button on the mouse. I'm now holding 5 points on the mouse. Make sure your magnet is on. And we're going to start by looking here, 15th of June at 0800, click once, then come down to find the low point, which is the 16th of June at 1400. That's that one. Then we want the 22nd of June, the next high point at midnight. That's that one. Then 23rd of June at 1400. That's going to be the next low point down there. And then D, the 26th at 1600. And that's that one there. So as we know, sometimes these points can redraw. I like mine in bright pink, as you know. And I'll just bring that up as well. Okay, so once you've got that on, just double check back on your scanner that it looks the same. Yes, it does. And then come back to the left, come to the pitchfork, the first one at the top. I saved them with a yellow star, so I've got them on my favorites under the indicators. If I click on indicators, there's my favorites. I've got some of the other strategist stuff up here, but I just saved the main ones under favorites. So I'm going to pick up that pitchfork, and your first pitchfork is keep the magnet on, because then it will suck onto the end of the wick that you want. So that's X, and it's trying to go further up, C to D, and I'll bring that up in white. That's the color I like mine when it's the most recent one. And that's it. So now we've got our pitchfork on. As long as this is on accurately, then it's valid forever. That's how the candles have printed. And the Vibrata will be based on that artificial intelligence, on the algorithm, on how candles are printed in the market forever. So once a candle's closed, it's printed in the market forever. So the only fiddly bit with this strategy is because we're on the hourly, we've got one candle, and we want to make sure, because we're working on our entries on the 1 minute for a very precise entry, there are 60 1-minute candles within this one candle. So although this looks accurate up here, it's on the wick of the hourly, we need to make sure that it's on the highest wick of the highest candle on the 1 minute. Does that make sense? So make sure your magnet's on, come down to the 1 minute. And as I say, this is the fiddly bit, and you don't have to lock it on like I've done, but I've found in the past sometimes I've had glitches and moved my pitchforks off by mistake. So if we come down to the 1 minute, you can see, in fact, it's not accurately on anything. And that makes it non-tradable, because one pip out, if we're off with the pitchfork on the 1 minute, which is our entry, remember, then over a period of time, because we trade these over 300 or 400 days, they're valid forever, your angle will be out 50, 60 pips. It will increase. So it means that it is totally untradeable. So we have to grab the pitchfork and move it to the highest one. And if you're not sure, then come up here and take a horizontal line and draw it so that you can see which one you should be taking. And obviously, if they're the same, then it doesn't matter. You can choose either, but I usually pick the one that's nearest. So for me, I'm going to pick that one anyway. If I magnify it for you, and I'm only going to do this today because it's Monday, you can see that, in fact, it's either of those two there, not that one. So as I say, it looks very pernickety, but it is. And then I know in the future this is accurate. But even if I'm using a very old scan in the future, I'll still look back and just double check that various candles that pip, to the pip, it has hit the pitchfork. It's remained true. It's remained valid. If it looks dodgy, then I will remove an old scan. I won't use it. Now, you don't have to bother moving the drawing across. You're only bothered about the pitchfork, but I usually do. So I'll just remove that. That was just to show you. And then we'll work our way down and just make sure the other points are on accurately. And then we'll have a look at some pairs to trade. It is Monday, and I haven't looked at Forex. I did look at Forex Factory earlier on. It's a Euro bank holiday. I think it was Italy. And I don't think I could see anything else, but I've forgotten temporarily. I was doing something else this morning. And here you can see it just needs adjusting slightly onto the end of that wick, and you're good to go. I'll move the drawing on as well, and up to the B. Doesn't matter so much about the B and the A because they haven't got a pitchfork on them, but I usually Brian knows how pernickety I am with my trend lines, and I'm a bit like that with these points. It's just habit, I suppose, because then you're not ever worrying.
You're not the only one in the OCD club about your drawings.
Yeah. It's a little habit. And there's the A. That looked like it was on the hourly, but you can see it's not. So it is now. And then the X point, which is overlapping from a previous one, and there it is. So just make sure that's on that highest point there. And now we've got them all locked on. We go here and we lock it where that padlock is. Lock them on. So there's 2 to lock on. I lock on the drawing and the pitchfork. Come back to the minus sign, and that gives us our drawing. And then we can have a look at this trade once we've put our indicators on. So that's us on the 1 minute USD CAD, and then I need to switch back on the 62 EMA, which is the current trend in the market. So you can see it's consolidating all along that at the moment. The 930, which is how the 1 minute trend would look as if we were looking at the 15-minute chart, and then we'll look at the story it's telling us and our quarters theory. And these are in relation to our trade confirmation checklist, which you should all have if you're using this strategy. So what's this telling us on the 1 minute? Well, it did its break and its retest off the D point. It came down through quarter theory. It's rejected all along quarter theory since London 26th of June, before the opening of the market. So I just want to see, excuse me, 29th, 28th. So I can't see any gap on the usually you'll find a pip gap. I can't see one on this. You know, where open of market is. So that's going to be roundabout. Going to be, oh, it must be this. It must be that there. So at the moment, it has said that it really doesn't like breaking through quarter theory, which is one of our confirmations. Look at all these rejections here. Today in London, it did a move of, so it might move later because it's USD CAD. It's not a London session pair. So we can mark it up. So it moved in London 24 pips. And so if we break it down, this is a sell scan, and we've got how many pips between each leg? 65 pips. So this is one of these ones where if you want to, you can take a buy, not a sell. Normally we'll only take a trade in the direction of the scan down to the median, which is this solid white pitchfork here. So in this case, you can take a buy if you want to, because of the gap, the breadth of between each pitchfork leg. So if you break it down, what is this actually telling us? Quarter theory is telling us it's a buy because it's above quarter theory. It's telling us that it is a buy above the 62 there, but you can see here how it's crossed down below, and that is one of our sell confirmations here. So that is a sell, not a buy, even though it's come up here. So what is that telling you? What that's telling you is it's testing the 15-minute line, and it's still on its way down. It's doing what it's done here. It's tested that line there, tested it again. It did rise up quite a bit there, so it tried to push up, but it can't really do it. It's not really working for it. I'm just going to take that off here. Let me just remove that. And then we've got a have we got a trend line? We should have. So what's our trade? Your trend is your friend. What's our trend line looking like? I think I would probably, you want to anchor it onto something, so probably anchor it onto there. You need to anchor, always anchor your trend line. So I've anchored it onto there. So can I draw the trend line out there? Not really. Doesn't look very good. You want a minimum of 2, preferably 3 touches. That looks quite good as a trend line. So I might leave it there. You could put it there even though you've got that slippage through, because you're picking up 1, 2, 3 points there. I think that's probably my gut feeling, is to put it on that one, to be honest. But that one's picking up 3, 4, picking up those 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think I'll leave it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to leave it on that one for the moment. So what you've got your entry trend line like this. You've got your momentum trend, and then you can adjust it once you're in the trade. It doesn't have to stay. It'll end up with another trend forming on it, and I can see quite a lot of trend lines sitting behind it. You'll build those up as you build up your library of scans. I pay attention to the current scan. That takes precedence over the old pitchforks running through, but sometimes I use them to exit if I can see prices stalling out a couple of times on an old pitchfork. You know, it's not going to make it down to quarter theory, and I've made 20 pips trade goal or 25 pips daily goal, then excuse me, I probably won't stay in it. And then so the trend line is saying down, but at the moment that is pushing up a little bit more. So that could be because it is the hourly fake out, 14.25. So actually it's pushing up outside of that. So I'm going to put on my hull at the moment because I can't really tell what this wants to do at the moment. Oh, I need to look at Forex Factory. And then I'm going to move on to something else. That is saying, this is the 15-minute trend, the band in the background, so that is still saying down, but I think I can see it's just changed to green at the moment, so it's pushing up. So the trend seems to be changing on this now. And then how else do you judge whether you've got something that you can do as a trade setup? So here we could take a quarter theory trade if we had the right confirmations, because the pitchfork leg is big, you know, it's over 60 pips. So it's off quarter theory. So I've got no trade here at the moment until it hits a level, which the next level up would be this pitchfork, not this quarter theory here. It could be because it's rejected off it there. So it might not want to come right up to the D point, but I just want to check Forex Factory. Yeah, I thought that's right. We've only got the European Italian bank holiday. There's nothing affecting USD CAD today. Not a lot of news this week, actually. USD and CAD news tomorrow. Oh, and on Wednesday, and USD on Thursday and Friday. So that could be affecting how the market is thinking about it this week. That could be why it's doing this.
Payroll on Thursday, Sarah.
Oh, is that why? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, it's because it's
it's come a day early because it's July the 4th celebration.
4th of July holiday for the US.
It's sorry, well spotted, and it's big holiday. So that will okay. So that explains why this is looking like this then. So we'll leave this one. There's no trade here anyway. So brilliant. Well, that's how we can use the fundamentals to read the market, and by fundamentals we just mean looking at the news. So we'll move on to we'll move on to a Canadian one then, GBPCAD, because that's got a hot pair. It's got the Canadian dollar, which is live in this session, and I'll just look at if there are any new scans. I can't see any new ones on that. That's okay. I could just use what I've got at the moment. So GBPCAD. The last scan we had was from 24th of June, and that was from the C to the D, 220 pips. So that's about 55 pips per leg. So it's working its way down. It's worked its way down to the median. It's rejected off quarter theory there. It's in a little sandwich, a little wedge, little cheese wedge price trap there. So we'll have a look and see what that looks like lower down the time frame. Come down to the 1 minute. And it's just the same thing over and over. We don't try and be fancy, and we don't vary what we do. We look at our 3 or confirmations using our trade checklist. It's a very precise entry. That's why you've got to have the confidence. You set your charts up at least 2 or 3 hours before you come trading. And I'm sorry, I haven't done that today because I haven't done any trading this morning because it's Monday morning. I don't always trade Monday morning. And then you know when you come on to look at your trade, you've got the 3 confirmations, bang, you can get in the trade. You do some analysis when you're on, but normally I will have tried to have gone through all the pairs and just sort of read the markets and thought, what can I mark up? But I haven't done that today. So up here, you had a very nice entry. I don't think I'll be able to see the D point on the 1 minute. Just show you that back here. There it is. There's your D point up here.
I think with this one, Sarah, Brian did post another scan, but I couldn't find it on the scanner. It had gone. I've only looked this morning, but
yeah,
I think
I do have a newer one, but current price action has fallen off the extensions of the pitchfork, so and it's landed back in the one Sarah's working on. So it doesn't matter.
Okay. But the one you put in was valid then. That I can still keep that in there, can I, Brian?
Where is that one?
It was at the time I drew it.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Is it an hourly, Brian, or M30?
No, it's completely gone. It's not on the scanner anymore.
Oh, okay. Right, that's interesting. So, I don't want that one. This one. So here we are on the. So very nice entry here. We've got pitchfork touch. We've got a break and a retest. Now you're going to say, Sarah, it didn't come back up to here. The reason is because you've got quarter through, it's rejecting off there, and the 62 strong downward momentum, it's come back and it's broken and it's retested the 62. I would have had every confidence to have got in at that point. This is a fast moving pair. Down to quarter theory would have been 4, so you could have easily got your 20 pips, 40 to quarter theory, down to the pitchfork where it consolidated to 70 pips. So you had a very nice trade there at open of London. So at the moment, break it down, always break it down. Don't get overwhelmed. Just take it one confirmation at a time and ask yourself, what does your trade sheet tell you? So it tells you it's rejected off quarter theory. That means it's buying. It tells you that it broke, it's broken above the 62, but the 62 is still under the 15 minutes. So that technically is a sell. It's still selling, and now it's rejected off the pitchfork. There's that big break and retest. So that is a sell. So even though it's above the 62, remember this is your strong, this is the strong confirmation. The 62 has come down. Now, if it reverses above, it could be coming back up to test the 15 minutes, but you have got 2 brick walls between you and price taking you out. So if we put on a short position, which would be for a sell, and put it, we can, do you think we could try a fib on this one, Brian?
I don't think that pullback was far enough from the high, unless you started.
I wonder if this is the 61.8 though. If we do that, because you might have to with GBP pairs, guys. We always have a 15 pip stop loss, not a 10, because they're such fast moving pairs. So I never ever myself personally go about 17 or 18. Can't bring myself to do it, but that's your prerogative. And then there's your 20 pips down to there, but we work visually to the levels. We'd be looking, you don't get into these fast pairs to come away with 10 or 13 pips, as Chance says. There's 33 pips to quarter theory, down to that pitchfork 60, down to there is 80, bearing in mind you know, news and other things that may affect you in the week while it's working its way down. But because we're on the 1 minute entry, you know, we're not in trades for very long. So I'll just look to see what the fib tells us. So this is a sell. So you want it from high to low. It must be put on accurately. So I usually put the magnet on. Sorry, it's just sucked down to another wick. You want it up on, I'll just turn it off actually, because you want it must be accurate onto the end of the wick. There's the 100%, not that one, down to that one. So there's your 61.8 there. So if we were going to trade this, you're saying to yourself, why can't we take it? Why can't we take it off that entry when it hits there? Well, the answer is you possibly could. But what is your pip level between that and that? 33. So you'd have to either put a smaller fib on to see if you're coming back to a fib level. We can try that in a minute. You haven't got quarter theory. You've got the pitchfork. You haven't got quarter theory that you can use. So you're going to have to look for a fib or a break of trend. Put this trend line on. You're going to have to find your other confirmations. And normally if you find 2 confirmations, you've got 3. But my inclination is this. I'd be waiting for it to do that. And then get into the trade. So waiting for that reversal is personally what I think. But it may be consolidating along. It is a fast pair though. So if we put, I haven't really got a trend line at the moment. See if I can.
You're also kind of stuck in that price wedge between quarter theory and the pitchfork too, even though it is a good size at this moment.
Yes, I agree. It's again, it's a sludgy one, isn't it? I haven't got really anything I feel that we can go at here. So here, if we put that trend line on, oh, that's me fiddling with trend lines. You're probably never going to cure me, I'm afraid. I can't stop it.
Well, the more you actively think about it, the better you'll get at it.
There's always room for improvement. It's not even a very good trend line at the moment, is it? So here we've got, and that's just curling down. Yes, and this the pitchfork's the white one, quarter theory is the orange dotted. So it's in this gap, and it's just got to decide if it's going to burst out one way or the other. So there's no trade on GBPCAD that's worth marking up anymore. I like to keep those sort of markups just when I go over back testing in the future, think, oh, did it do that? Or did it just carry on in there consolidating? You know, it helps you sort of help find good trades. So you'll only find that through back testing. That's what the markets will tell you. So let's find another one. I'm going to close USD CAD. Euro NZD. Just see what that looks like. Oh, that made quite a big move. And it's still going up. So it's just crossed above that that quarters theory. And we've got it. What's our gap here? 75 pips. Where was the scan we're working off? Oh, it's broken up now above the D point. So it did 2 break and a retest. This was from Chance's chart analysis. Very good call. 12:30, just after midnight, you can send all your cock-ups into him and he'll tell you what you've done wrong. So if you can put your ego to one side, you've got a professor looking at your charts, it's absolutely fabulous. Really good because you learn from all the other students as well. So what's this telling us at the moment? Just take it one confirmation at a time. The orange is crossed above the blue, that's check for a buy. We've got the pitchfork touch there, that's check for a buy. We haven't got anything else at the moment because we could take a quarter theory trade, but we've probably missed it. I'm on the 15-minute, I beg your pardon. I need to come down to the 1 minute. If it comes back and tests that quarter theory, but it's probably moved too far off now because it's such a fast pair. Oh, it's moved off 13 pips. If it comes back and tests quarter theory before going up again, we'll put a trend line on. It's above the 62. Because it's over 60 pips on the pitchfork leg, you can take a quarter theory trade. But you know, you need to work out if you've got the other confirmations. So we'll put a trend line on that, because if it breaks the trend line and starts to fall back down, then clearly you don't want to touch it for a buy. It is a fast pair. Not a lot of volume on those candles though. I'm trying to work that trade out. I've got quite a spike there. I can't really, I think it's more like, I haven't really got much of a trend there, I don't think, because I haven't got any anchor down here. Unless I put it on that one, unless you go right out here. And I can't really see that one either. So it's coming back down. I think I'm going to leave it on there. At the moment, funny shaped candles, not a lot of volume. I think I prefer that. So it's just coming down to, that's it. Something like that. I can't really see that. Oh, that's about it. I know I've got all that slippage there, but I can't get it any better. So put a long position on. If it came back to that, you've got 33 pips up to there. And probably don't need 15 pip stop loss if it carries on. So what else can we put on that? I haven't got a channel touch. There's not much of a channel there. I've only got it going above the 62, the break and the retest of quarter theory, and the fact the orange has crossed above the blue. So I don't know what the hull is telling us. That's some outer fibonaccials of a previous scan, so it's crossed above those. Well, that's all still green at the moment. Usually I just use that for exits. So that's up to you. If you, I've got an old pitchfork there, I'll show you, which is quite nice because that gives you comfort that its price probably won't. I've just highlighted it in green there. This is the old pitchfork there. All those rejections off, then it broke through there. So it's now come out of that scan. So I don't want to confuse you. I'm going to take it off again. I just want to tell you that it would have it would have to break through quarter theory and that possibly, although that's an older scan, you know, it does give me a bit more confidence that it might carry on going up. Let me just fade that out though, because we don't want too much on our charts. So what you're looking, it may even come back down and test that 62. So if it does that, you could adjust your trend line out, but you want to make sure it is going to stay somewhere. If I do that, and don't take it if it drops. There's that pitchfork there. So that line you're looking at is the 1.75500 is your quarter theory. So that's that trade there. Haven't got a fib we can put on either. So that's up to you if you think it's still going to buy. But you only get in if you get in on the candle in the right direction. So you wouldn't don't get in on a sell candle, a green one. If it's going to reject off, you want to get in when it turns to a blue one. We are coming up to 10 minutes before the hour, so you can often get fake outs as well. Try and be patient and not get in it, 10 minutes before the hour. And that's rejected off by how many pips? 2.3 pips. I consider a touch, by the way, just so you know that, because it's such a big market, daily market. And it meets up with that other point there. And I'm going to move on to another pair now. So I'll leave that one with you. But very small candles. And let's move that like that. So above the trend line, above the 62, and a break and a retest of quarter theory, if you feel that you want to get into that one. But remember, we're coming up to the hour. If it breaks below and then breaks below the 62, it'll be falling back down, and you don't want to get into that. And remember, it was a sell scan. That's broken the D point pitchfork. This was originally a sell scan, and that's what it's doing at the moment, up to those outer Fibonacci. So as it's broken quarter theory, it looks like it wants to carry on up, and our trend on the 15-minute, I can't draw a big, there's not a bigger trend line. There's quite a bit of consolidation there, but it did eventually break the quarter theory and the pitchfork on the 15-minute. Okay. Normally we don't bother going out looking at the longer time frames, but just so you can understand the kind of things we use. I know there's some new people on. So that's Euro NZD. Move on to another one. Another fast one. GN or GA, GN. Wild pair. Let's have a look, show you where the scan is. So this scan is from 22nd of June. Nearly completed the scan up to that C point. I'm on the 15-minute here, and has now fallen right back down, and I don't think I've got it in any scan at the moment. Even I haven't got a scan for this at the moment, so I'd have to draw, which I won't do today. I'd have to try and look back and draw a second pitchfork pointing the opposite direction, which I might do later. But I won't do that today.
Sarah, there is a newer scan for this one that I drew up for Friday, but I think it disappeared off the Harmonic scanner.
Interesting.
Oh, that might be it down there. GN cipher.
Okay. So let me have a look at this one then. X 16th of the 6th at 10. I think this week is perhaps going to be a bit of a slow week because of everything we spoke about on the news. Market kind of seizing up a bit, and with the 4th of July coming up, that's what I think is happening this week.
No, I think the one I have is newer than this.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Where's that then?
So my D point would be like 10:30 on the 26th for you.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it may have disappeared off the scanner. I got mine on the 30-minute though.
I've only got the 24th of June.
Yeah, well, like I said, when I was drawing my charts up, the D candle is this red one over here, and it kind of fell off and is coming back into the outer extensions on mine.
Well, I'll carry on doing this one then.
Sarah, have you got Euro GBP lined up? Drawn up, sorry.
We can have a look at
quite a good entry now, but it's
okay, we can have a look at that.
done a break and a retest of the pitchfork. It's done Fibonacci, perfectly tapped the 618, but only thing that's putting me off is the timing, obviously, 10 minutes before the hour.
The timing, did you say? Is the only thing putting you off?
The time being 10 minutes before the hour.
Okay, let's see what we've got. So I've got that from a scan with a D point of the 16th of June.
Let me double check.
That looks very nice. So, yeah, we've got, that's very nice. We've got, well spotted, thank you, that's lovely. So the downside would be it's not a New York session pair. I find Euro GBP is a slow moving pair, nothing against that. It just might take a little more time. You only need 10 pips on Euro GBP, but I'd want to cover the quarter theory. And yes, I agree. Just wait till the, personally, I always try and be patient. It's not always so easy because it's tested the 62. He's got the fib rejection, he said, and it's still on its way up. So
yeah, if you do a fib from that bottom, that previous low to the previous high, that touches 618 perfectly.
Right, well then that's good to go then, isn't it?
Just gonna sort of wait for the time to play out.
Okay, thanks, that's brilliant. So let's have a look. Put the previous low to there, you mean? That's not right, is it?
Mine looks different.
Yeah, that's mine. That's not. That's only coming off the 50%. And I haven't got any other point that I can go on there.
Yeah, my bad. I'm a donut. I was looking at the wrong one. It is 50% the same as yours.
Yeah, so therefore, if it's only off the 50%.
Yeah, I didn't realise. I thought it was in a 618. I was looking at the wrong bloody line.
That's okay. If it's so the fib, it's all right. Let's see what else we've got. The fib isn't working, but that doesn't matter. So we've got the pitchfork touch. We've got the break and the retest back to the 61.8 and off the 1 minute trend. Let me just.
You're above the 62.
Above the 62 as well, yeah. And I'm just trying to see what to do with that trend line off that anchor at the bottom. So that's really the trend there, I think, with the most touches. Or we could put it like that. So if it stays above there after the hour, then you've got a 10 pip just about. You might want to make it a bit bigger. plus your pitchfork. And then you're looking for it up to that 35 pips. But again, I think the market is not going to be brilliant this week for big moves, I don't think. So but that looks quite nice, doesn't it, that one?
Hey, Sarah, as for your comment for this being hot pairs or whatever, remember the London session is still active for 2 more hours, right?
Is it?
Yeah, the London session closes at 4 o'clock UK time.
Oh, I always think of it as, I always think of...
It's even though it's the London New York cross, the London session still goes.
Yeah, which is why we always say New York moves between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Yeah, fair comment. Yeah. So just wait a few minutes on that one and then see if you can get in. It's not going to come back down. So if you wanted to, you'd have to probably move your stop loss to cover you on the quarter theory. So entry point would be round about 0.91650. Well, it's coming back down now because it might fake down. Hopefully it might touch that pitchfork again, which would be nice. And let's draw it as if it did, because we're coming up to the end of the session. So we'd have, if we might get some slippage, in other words, because it's fake, it might fake out on the hour. So ideally 0.91595. Sorry, I beg your pardon. 0.91599 with a stop loss of 0.91494 and a take profit at around 0.9180804. But sometimes what you have to look at is, after your 10 pips, are you going to get out of it, depending on what it decides it's going to do, because that will be about the 10 pips. So you won't always get the 20, where you've got those previous 2 points there. Okay, so that's it for today. And I hope that was helpful. And
before you go, Sarah, could you just quickly run through those figures again? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Entry at 0.91599. Stop loss 0.91454. Take profit area 0.91804. But possibly down at 0.91710, 10 pips. But I think the market this week is going to be, these smaller moves and not such fast runs with the 20 pips quickly because of 4th of July and non-farm payroll. That's like a double whammy, isn't it? The Americans.
Looks like we just got our pitchfork touch there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're on the hour. We're out of time. And I'll just check the chat. Sarah, did you ever draw up a set of rules for your trading strategy? Absolutely. This comes from Channel 20, Chance and Samantha Gonham. It's pitchforks. And there is a confirmation checklist, which you'll find in their pip talk, which is page 2 of the IM Center. Or I think you'll find it in our Harmonics Pitchforks group under the files.
I think John is referring to the fact that you were going to create a written set of rules.
Oh yeah, it's on my list of things to do. It's just, and yes, that's right, Brian. Quite right. It's on my lengthy list of things to do. I will do it today. It won't be complete, but Brian and I can add to it. Okay, then I'm going to go. That's my gardener at the door wants paying.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Brilliant again. Thank you.
Okay, bye everyone.
Right,
Thank
see
you.
ya.
Bye.